And I've realized I have friends that give me advice. They're married and they try to give me advice on relationships, and they tell me all the time, it's about compromise, and you got to find your kind of compromise. And I think I figured out really like our kind of compromise, my girlfriend and I. What it turns out is like what happens is like, let's say I want to do one thing, right, and she wants to do something entirely different. So what happens is she cries, right? We argue, she cries, and then we compromise where she'll stop crying if we do her fucking thing. I think that's like the key to 2.5 years right now. That's what. I do have a lot of friends that have gotten married. They get married and then they have the kids, and I couldn't figure that out at first, but then I realized, because I had the friends that get married and they'd call me up after they got married and they're like, hey, you want to hang out? I was like, yeah, they're fun, they're my friends, they were fun people. But then they got married and they're fucking boring as shit, and they call me up and like, hey, you want to hang out? Yeah, sure. Okay, we're going to play Jenga. No, I'm not fucking hanging out, forget that. I don't have to do stuff like that. And then they went and had kids, which I finally figured that out. I was like, okay, so nobody wants to hang out with them anymore. So then I thought, okay, well, why don't we like make somebody who like has to hang out with us? Right? For like 18 years, this thing's got to fucking sit here. We can play all the Jenga we want. It's got legally, it can't even go anywhere. It's like our responsibility to play Jenga with this thing. And I have some of these friends that I wouldn't trust them to raise a plant, let alone like a human, right? A plant even would be like, because this is like, this thing, it's got thoughts and stuff, and they're crazy ideas, some of these, my friends, and they just sit there and there's this thing, it doesn't know any better. They just sit there and just like, yeah, and then what happens is, they're like, no, stop, it doesn't know that you're fucking out of your mind. It just believes everything you say. I had a problem with a friend, my best friend from growing up. He just had a daughter, and they had to come up with a name for her, and they called me up beforehand, and they're like, okay, we have a name we like, we want to see what you think of it. We're thinking about naming her Infinity. What do you think of that? And I was like, you don't live in the Matrix, you idiot. It's a stupid name. How about like a human name, right? Like Susan or Amy or something like that? That's like a real person name. That's what, like, no. We want her to be special. We want it to be symbolic of her limits. Her limits will be infinity. And was it her limits? You name her Infinity, her limits are going to be the stripper pole. All right? There's no Dr. Infinities out there. If you showed up to the doctor and they introduced themselves as Dr. Infinity, you'd be like, you know what? I'm out of here. That's what I am. Keep the poker. I don't keep your $20. I don't know what you're doing back here. It's special, that's the word too. Yeah, should be a special event at VIP's Gentlemen's Club. That's what probably. Should just name her Trixie or Sparkles or something. I think if they're lucky, best case scenario for that kid, this is what I'm banking on, like, well, fine, if you're gonna go with that, then maybe if you're lucky, she could end up like on American Gladiators or something. You just buy her a giant Q-tip and a helmet and a little Infinity and go climb mountains or something. Prepare for her career. And that's what they did. They bought a book of baby names. That's what they had. They had to go. I just kind of like, I couldn't grasp that. I was like, I don't understand. Do you not know, I don't know, any other people? Like, have you never met another person? They have a name. It's like, there's names. I know how many names? I know hundreds of names. I could just think, Jeff, Jason, Jerry, those are just J's. Like, I mean, there's all kinds of names. I know them. You don't have to buy a book for it. And to think, like, we get, every one of us gets a book full of names delivered to our front door every 6 months in a plastic bag. It's called a phone book. They just open it. It's free. They just bring it. You don't even ask for it. They just bring it. Right? You just open it up. It's just names, just hundreds of pages of names, free for anybody to use. And they went and bought a book. I can't even be like, you can't, like, were they afraid they could, like, you couldn't go to the bookstore and, like, look through the book and go, like, remember it? You're like, that Jeff? I'm not going to remember that. There's no way I'm going to remember that. This is $30? Yeah, I need that for... I don't know. But yeah, I don't get to hang out with I don't have, like, a lot of friends to hang out with anymore. I'm married, or that I have a girlfriend thing, she wants to hang out all the time. She has all these plans for us, like, these compromises. she's got a lot of things have become like outdoor lately. That's what she's been into. Like she goes hiking all the time, which is something that I don't know. I just was like, it doesn't seem like that big a deal to me, hiking. It's like, right, whatever, it's no big deal. And she's like, no, you don't belittle it. You've never been hiking. It's so much more than you realize. So then she took me, and I don't know if you guys realize this, but it turns out hiking, that's really just walking up a hill. That's all. There's nothing more. I don't even think there has to be a hill involved, frankly. I think it could just be walking. The only reason it's hiking is because then she gets to put more points down on her Weight Watchers or something. So we have to call it hiking so she can lose more weight. I don't know. Then she came up with this one. She comes to me. She's like, "Oh, I got an idea for something I saw on television. It's gonna be so romantic." Which I know when I hear, I know what that means. That means boring. That's what that means. It means I'm not gonna like it. Romantic. Don't use that word to describe it. She goes, "How about we go blueberry picking?" Really? That's romantic. All right. Not even like apples or oranges, right? Like my girlfriend could probably pick like 10 apples, and then her feeble little arms wouldn't be able to carry anymore. I'd get to go home. No, blueberries. That's what we're gonna do. And most people that pick fruit, right? You know what happens? Like they show up and they go pick fruit, and then somebody pays them to do. They get paid to do that. Not me. No, not this idiot. I paid a guy. I gave him money, and he goes, "Yeah, go pick all the fruit you want, buddy. All right? Have a blast. Fruit picking." He gives me a bucket. I'm just walking around with my bucket trying to fill it up with blueberries. You ever picked a blueberry? You have any idea what that is? It's like this big. It's like that. You gotta pick them individually, like every little one, right? And you gotta be careful because you squish it, it's worthless. It's nothing. You can't. It's a big waste of time, right? So you just pick the little one and go, "Oh, I got one. Where's the bucket?" Or the other bucket. How long it takes to fill 2 buckets full of blueberries? 4 hours is what it took me. That's what it's like. Of my life gone just picking blueberries. That's it. 2 buckets sitting at home in my kitchen. Can't throw them, they're sitting there for weeks, just getting moldy and stuff. You can't even use them anymore. Can't throw them away. No, she won't let me throw them away. Because there are special blueberries. We picked them together. Can't throw those away. No. Gotta let them stink up the kitchen. Like a month. You can't make enough pies in a lifetime to get rid of 2 buckets full of blueberries. Do you have any idea what it costs for blueberries for like a handful? It's like $10, right? I would pay $100 to never have to do that again. She wants to pick fruit. I came up with finally a plan for fruit. All right, fine. You want to pick fruit next time? Here's what we'll do. Okay? We'll pick watermelon. That's it. Show up and be like, "Yeah, that one. Get the big one right there. I'm gonna pick it up. Let's go back to my life now." Spend the rest of the afternoon chopping that up and leave me alone for a few minutes. Oh, with the outdoor stuff. Then she got real outdoorsy. Like she's trying to get me to go overnight camping, to a campsite, and it's not my thing. It's not going to happen. She came over. She's like, "I saw this brochure," which I know what that means. It's going to suck because if there has to be a brochure. I like things that people do by word of mouth. That's what I like, all right? Brochure stuff. That means nobody fucking wants to do it. They had to come up with a little pamphlet to go like, "Oh, look, there's pictures of not what it's really like, but..." So I picked out this campsite. It's just this park, and it's just like 5-hour drive. No, just 5 hours, really? So 5 hours, 10 hours total. And just gone. Just going somewhere and coming back. That's it. Nothing else has happened yet. 10 hours already gone. Camping. She's like, "No, it'll be so. We'll just camp out in this park here. It's just like this park, and we'll just put the little camp, and we'll sleep underneath the moon and the stars, and it'll be so relaxing." Which also boring. That's what that means. Because I'm not gonna like it. I was like, "I got a better idea." And, all right, a park, right? There's a park across the street from my apartment. Right? Several people sleep there every night. In fact, one camper asked me for spare change the other day. I figure we have like a quarter or something. It shows all the moon, star, blueberries, whatever. Just have a blast. I'll go home and take a break back in the air conditioning or something, watch some cable. It's kind of camping I'm interested in. She tried to challenge me too on she's like, "Oh, okay, tough guy. Tough guy. What about survival skill? Tough guy. That's what she gets from this. I don't know if anybody else gets that, but I don't know where she got that. What about survival skills? Don't you want to know how to survive out in the wild? What if you were stranded out in the wild? You just had to fend for yourself." I was like, "You know what? I actually thought about that. If I were stuck by myself, what I would probably do is I would probably go ahead and just pull out my magic lamp, and then I would rub it, see? And then when the genie comes out, I'd use one of my 3 wishes to wish my way back home. Because it's just as likely as me ending up in the middle of the woods. I think the only way I'm ending up in the middle of the woods is if you drive me 5 hours north and put me there. So that's what we're fighting on now. I had friends that took me, she went out of town for a little while. She went to Israel, and it was like a couple weeks ago, and I swear to God, she went, and while she was there, a war broke out, and there was a part of me that was like, did she have anything to do with that? It just seems like a weird coincidence that the person who's always picking fights with me goes somewhere else and fucking bombs and don't tell the FBI or anything, but maybe. No, when she was gone, I had friends that asked me. They were getting together. A bunch of my single buddies were getting together, and they wanted to go to like a nightclub, like a trendy Hollywood nightclub, and they're like, yeah, let's go out. So, all right, whatever, because my girlfriend, she's really not into like going to clubs and like meeting chicks and stuff like that. That's really more like a me and my buddies kind of thing to do. So I don't have to do that as much. So we showed up at this club, and it's like me. It's just 5 guys. Me and 4 of my buddies showed up, and like we thought we're not gonna get in, right? It's like a trendy big line. It's the 5 guys. We're not gonna get in, right? So standing there in line, there's a guy right in front of me in line the whole time. After like an hour standing there, right? He turns around and he wants to give me advice on how to get in the club, right? He's been there longer than I have. He's gonna give me advice. He's like, you probably need to get here earlier next time. You mean like you standing here? God knows how much longer than I've been standing here. I don't know. Yeah, I'm this idiot. All right. He goes, all right, fine. And you know what? The only other way I can imagine, you guys are just 5 guys, and you're just not gonna. You probably need to bring like 10 girls with you. You guys brought like 10 girls, you could probably get in. I was like, you know what? That makes sense. If I had 10 girls with me, yeah, we'd probably get in. Maybe while I'm at it, though, I'd bring a couple bottles of vodka, a DJ in a booth. Too stupid. What the hell do you think I'm here for? If we had 10 girls with us, we don't need a nightclub. We are a nightclub. My friends just like, they won't give it up. They just, the whole time, they're just like, no, come on, we're going to get in, and it's going to be awesome, which is fucking not going to be awesome. They finally, we get up to the front, one of them goes and checks in with this, bouncer, this guy standing, he's got the clipboard and a little Secret Service thing, but he's not in the Secret Service, he's just some fucking asshole with a clipboard running my mouth. He says, the only way he's going to let us in, he's like, no, okay, the only way I'm going to let you guys in, you're going to have to give me $500. I'll get you VIP booth, bottle of vodka, it'd be cool. They give him $500, right? Yeah, that's exactly. Leads us in that place down some long dark hallway, like we're going to a nuclear bunker somewhere. I might as well be on the floor of my closet listening to a little clock radio or something. Nobody knows I'm a VIP or anything. It's not for $500. It should be like a production. It should be like the closing ceremonies to the Olympics or something. Right? There should be like a light show going on, highlighting me and my friends with fireworks and shit. The DJ plays like a song with my name in it or something. And they take me to a booth that's right in the middle of the dance floor, just by itself, just one booth, and just a neon sign above an arrow flashing down. Sign says, "Fuck this guy." That would be worth $500. Thank you very much. You've been a lot of fun.